Right then. Magical Monday. Short week for me because my dad's here. Yep. He showed up Saturday morning about 9. And right away we got on projects. I bought a mattress and a platform bed frame from work here, so he had a place to sleep. It's actually cheaper to go that way than to buy the conventional mattress, box spring, and a bed frame, because you're not buying the box spring, you're not buying the frame, the bed frame. So I saved myself a couple $100. Yep. But Friday, when I got done with work, I had the trailer on and I loaded up the lift chair for Scrunchy and the mattress and the box. The mattress comes rolled up in a box, pretty heavy, and the frame comes disassembled. So when I got home Friday night, I was already wiped from working all week. I just wanted to sit in a chair. I didn't want to do anything, but I had to do it. So I hauled the chair on a cart down the hill to the lower door to get in the house, down in the lounge area. Rassled that into the house, got that all set up. And then I brought the bed and the frame into the bedroom with a 2-wheel cart, and then that's when I stopped. I was like, nah, I'm done. So when my dad showed up Saturday morning, first thing we did was put his bed together. And it's kind of funny because I didn't have any sheets. I didn't buy any sheets for that thing, or a comforter or anything. And so Scrunch donated a sheet set and a summer weight comforter, and Dad and I went to put the sheets on, and we were fighting. Fitted sheet, right? And I thought, well, this is... Scrunch knew what size mattress I got. She asked. And you can probably see where this is going. I got my knee in the mattress. I'm pulling on it, stretch the fitted sheet. Dad's on the other side doing that. Couldn't get it to go. And we finally kind of sort of got it to go. And then when we put the top sheet on, I said, how much you got on your side to tuck it under the mattress? About 3 inches. And I said, yeah, I got about 6 over here. What's up with that? Well, we can just tuck it under the foot. It'll be okay. Turns out Scrunch gave me a set of full-size sheets instead of a set of queen. So yeah. Womp, 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 womp. So when she came up this weekend, Sunday morning, she wasn't feeling good Saturday, but miraculous recovery. Yeah. So she didn't come up Saturday. And so she came up Sunday morning before church, and we went to that new church up here that I'll be going to. But anyway, so that was Friday night. And I made dinner stuff, and had ribs and brown rice, and fried up the chanterelle, that big jumbo chanterelle mushroom. Oh, I didn't show you that. I found one big jumbo golden chanterelle growing alongside some guy's driveway, so I harvested that and I carved that up with some bear claw mushrooms as well. Had that with supper and some asparagus, and then yeah, so what was that all about? The route has been updated. Somebody drop off. Aqua, Mercer, Twitch Waters. Yep. Scott Muchinski dropped off. Good. That's nicer. Anyway, so Saturday, since Scrunch stayed home, Dad and I worked on some projects, but the big project I wanted to start was the shop, and that has ground to a complete stop because I did some closer analysis of the situation, and I have to run all new wiring from the house panel out to the garage. When they built my garage, it's brand new, and the electrician wired it. They wired it for just lights and 3 outlets and the garage door openers. So as a result, the underground feeder wire that's coming from the service panel in the house out to the garage is only 10 gauge wire. It's not heavy enough to run a welder. It's heavy enough to run a 240 volt circuit, but I can't use it as a feed. So if I were to grab my big 300 amp stick welder and decide I want to start welding on a trailer frame or something, I would melt those wires underground. And in Houston, we got a problem. So I now have to dig a trench from the house to the shop, bury conduit, run number 4 cable, and do it right. Not only that, I picked up a service panel at Menards, discount, clearance, and I thought it was the right service panel because it said 8 circuits, and I opened up the box, and it's only 4. I could run 8 circuits off the 4 lugs that are in the box, but there's no provisions for a main breaker, and there's no provisions for a separate ground. Whenever you wire in a sub panel, you have to run a separate ground bar, and then you have to drive a stake into the ground to ground it to earth. You don't link the neutral and the grounds together. Oh yeah, total wrong box. So I couldn't do that. I don't have the money to buy the breakers I need. Breakers aren't cheap. The cable, the conduit, none of that. So that project came to a screeching halt. So I made a list of projects that I want to do with him. Remember how I was talking about I took a pallet here from work and I stained it with motor oil, and I wanted to make a little dock out of it. So we built that little dock and we installed that. Yep. So that's pretty cool. Yep. Cleared out an area for him to play around and beach the rowboat. He's out on the lake right now. He actually made it from my lake, from the big lake, to the secret lake in the back through the channel. And he said he had no issues. He got through there with the rowboat. I thought for sure he would have problems because there's a big log that lays across the entrance of that. And then there's a couple of logs that are just under the surface of the water. The water's real shallow. I thought he would struggle trying to get up that channel. But he called me on the phone a little while ago and he said he's in there. And it went really well. So, sweet. But, yeah, so we built that little dock. The chainsaw carvings that Scrunchy bought for the house, we got those modified it, put spacer blocks on the backside to space them away from the wall so they could breathe. The wall could breathe. We got that all built and hung on the walls. Looks really good. Yeah, we've been diving into some projects here, so it's pretty cool. Went to church yesterday morning. It's a small church, just a handful of people. There was only one young person there, a girl that looked like she was in her 20s. The rest were all geezers, pretty much. My dad was kind of being an embarrassment. He's just walking up to random people and introducing himself, and hi, my name's Arnie, and then he doesn't say anything afterwards. He just stands there, looks awkward, and walks away. I was like, but you know what's funny is we were sitting where we were sitting, and the people behind me introduced themselves and started talking. They live just down the road from me on a side spur road off of the main highway. And then the pastor of the church lives on the other side of me on the little next spur road down from my road. So it's like a lot of us live all in the same area. I'm like, that's weird. So yeah, kind of neat. Church started at 10, 2 hours long. I thought church services were only an hour. It was 2 hours. And a lot of singing and talking about current events and prayer requests and stuff like this. It was like, okay. So when we got back, the plan was all three of us were going mushroom hunting. And I came way out here, out east of the shop. And because I discovered that road where I found all those old man's beard and the coral fungi, the claw fungi. And so we drove all the way out there, and we drove down that same road again. And right away, as soon as I turned on the road, I saw some of the bear's claw on the side of a tree, but a lot of it was real high up. I couldn't reach it with my walking stick. So we're gonna make some modifications to our program here. Scrunch and I are gonna have the same, we're gonna use painter poles for walking sticks. And then when we see some oysters or old man's beard way up on a tree, we just tape the two poles together to make it real long. And then I'll tape my fillet knife on the end, and I can saw them off. That's what we did. And then you catch them as they fall. So we got some of them. We didn't get all the ones on that log, on that tree, but we got some. And then we just puttered down the road. I found some more on the log that I harvested last week. But we hit the mother lode on a tree. Scrunch didn't see it. It was on her side of the car as we were crawling in. And I had all the windows down and we were just creeping. And she didn't see these. I saw them on the way out. They're called resinous polypore. They're a soft bracket fungi that grows on dead trees. And they're edible and they're good, I guess. And this tree was just bristling with them. I'll put the picture of the tree as the header picture on this video. But there was a lot. We came out of there with two of those these mesh bags full. And it was every bit of 12 pounds per bag. Well, they were waterlogged because it was raining. We got poured on. We brought our rain suits with us. We got poured on. But once again, I used my pole with my walking stick with the knife taped to the end and cut them off the tree, and then we caught them and put them in the bag, and 2 white mesh laundry bags full. They're spread all over my kitchen right now, drying. So that was a major score. It was pretty cool. But we didn't find much in the way of ground mushrooms. I remembered where the boat landing was, where I found a small patch of chanterelles that one day. I think I made a video of that. I remembered where that was, and we were in that area, so we took a little run down that. But that's all private land on either side of that road. It's all posted. So we stomped around in there for a little bit looking for chanterelles, but when we found multiple different species, just in a small little area, right? But as Scrunch was doing the research with her app, all of them were poisonous, except for a different species of honey mushroom. Yeah. Which we brought home. But the problem is it was raining, or it had been raining, so everything was waterlogged and soggy. So when a mushroom's like that, you can't put it on a piece of paper or countertop and get a spore print, because the spores are all wet. It's not dropping spores. You gotta wait till the mushroom dries out, and then it'll drop the. So yeah, we couldn't positively ID it, but we kept them because her app said it was a species, a version of the honey mushroom. So we still have them. We'll still try to identify them before we eat them. But those resinous polypores, wow, did we walk out of there with a haul. Yep. And my dad, he's 85. He's doing great for 85. So he's trying to be helpful, right? And he's trying to rush and hurry so he's not an imposition to us, to me and Scrunch. He's tripping over logs and tripping over sticks, and he was like a bull in a china shop, So he's always been that way. He doesn't want to impose. He doesn't want to hold somebody up. You know what I mean? So he rushes. But he's getting to the age now. He's got to slow down, take his time. But he was quite the gentleman. Scrunchy, with her bad knees and stuff, there was some steep drop-offs to get into the woods, and he offered her his arm to help her down the hill, so that was cool. So that means he likes her. He likes her. She meets the approval even after the big blowout we had with the house in the beginning when we were trying to buy that house together. So yeah. I hit Scrunch with the big L word this weekend. Yeah. Well, if it's true, you gotta say it, so. Yeah, so that happened. But anyway, so far so good. Scrunch is gonna come back up midweek, Wednesday. And we're gonna hang out. And then she'll be back up on the weekend. I think tomorrow the plan is I'm bringing Dad to work. Tomorrow's essentially my Friday. So I want him, it'll be the only time he gets to do this. I want him to ride with me and see what I do. And he wants to too. And I'm hoping I have a refrigerator rebuild, because I'd like him to see that. The complexity of that job. But Wednesday I'll be off. I think I'm gonna run down to the trailer with him and work on the trailer during the day, and we'll get a good 6 hours in working on the trailer, putting that countertop on, cutting out the opening for the sink, dropping the sink in, etc., etc. No, I can't drop the sink in yet. Not until I put the resin on the top. Then you cut the hole. Yeah. So, we're gonna do what we can do down at the trailer. And then we'll come back up. Scrunch is coming up after work when she gets done at 5. She works banker hours, same hours every day. So she's gonna come up, we'll hang out, we might go out on the lake, go fishing. My dad doesn't want to fish. It's a private lake. There's no boat landing on it. The DNR has never come there to cause anybody any problems. You don't need a fishing license. You do, but you don't. You can get away with it. My dad's such a hardline Bible thumper. He doesn't feel right fishing the lake without a license, and he doesn't want to. It's too expensive to buy a week fishing license to be up here. So he said, "I'll just sit and watch you guys fish." All right, fine. I want to have him try tenkara fly fishing because I think he'll enjoy that. So I'll have him do something. But I don't know. Maybe Wednesday we will, for supper, we'll do a field to table deal and catch some crappies and bluegills and do a fish fry. Yeah. I'll have all day while Scrunch is working to prep for that. I got to build a fish cleaning table, and get the fry daddy out, get all that ready, and I'll have all day to do that. So when she comes up, maybe we'll go out for an hour or so and see if we can get into some crappies and bluegills, and then we'll clean them, and then we'll do a fish fry. See what she wants to do, or save that for the weekend. If she comes up Friday night after work, we could do that Saturday night as well, and spend some more time on the water. So we'll see. Or maybe me and my dad will go out for a couple hours during the afternoon while she's still working and get a basket full of fish, and then when she gets up there, we can go from there. We'll see. We're playing it by ear. I don't have an itinerary. I do have a list of projects. I do have another list on the projects too that I want to do on that outside wall on the lower level where the air conditioner and the fan are punched through the wall. There's an electrical receptacle there, and I want to, it's not wired in right now, it's just bare wires. I want to get that live. And then I have a string of patio lights, those little Christmas tree lights, out on the gazebo that I'm never going to use on the gazebo. And last night when I was making steaks, it was real dark underneath that deck that hangs over the back of the house. I couldn't see what I was doing. I had to play with a flashlight. So I think I'm going to string those gazebo lights along the underside of the house, under that deck, to light up the lower patio, and that'll be cool. So that's another project he and I can work on. So yep, we had a problem again with the lift station. That alarm that I bought on Amazon, that flood alarm, paid for itself threefold. Yep, I was running water in the kitchen, and all of a sudden that thing started wailing. I'm like, here we go. And I ran back into the laundry room where the lift station is, and I gave the pipe a kick, and the pump came on, and down went the water. Then Sunday, when we got back from church, Scrunch went into the lower bathroom to use the bathroom. She went to flush, and it wouldn't go down. She goes, the toilet's clogged. Well, I didn't have a plunger. I knew it wasn't clogged because no solids had gone down that toilet all morning. So I'm like, it's not plugged. Something else is going on. But I didn't have a plunger, so I ran to the hardware store, got a plunger, and I plunged the living daylights out of the toilet, and it wouldn't go down. And while I was plunging it, the flood alarm in the laundry room started wailing. I'm like, oh, I know what's going on. The pit is full again, and the float on the lift station pump jammed up. So I went in, kicked the pipe, goosh, everything went down, the toilet flushed. I got a problem. Now, I was talking to my dad about it. I said, well, we got another project if you want to try to figure this out. We got to tear that pit apart, take a look in that pit, and see if there's a grease buildup or a sludge buildup or something that's causing that float to not want to go up and activate the switch. That's one thing that could be going on. Or the switch itself is starting to fail. It's a mercury switch, and the switch is in the ball. It's inside the float ball. So when the ball is hanging down like this, the mercury is down here, and then the switch doesn't make contact. As the ball floats up, as the water's coming up, the mercury rolls this way, makes the switch contact, and the pump comes on and then pumps the water down, and it cycles back and forth like this. Could be the mercury switch is going bad, and I gotta replace the switch. I don't know if I can replace just the switch on this pump. It looks like an older pump, or I gotta buy a whole new pump. Whole new pump, $800 to $1,000. $800 to $1,000. But I would have peace of mind, right? One less thing weighing on my mind. So now, it happened this morning too. Well, no, it didn't. The siren didn't go off. I caught it in time. I was running water. Now I'm listening to the pump coming on and shutting off. And I was running water in the kitchen sink, and I flushed the toilet, and I'm like, that pump should have come on. So I went into the laundry room, and I gave the pipe a kick, and sure enough, the pump came on, and down it went. So I caught it before the siren went off. That siren is so loud. You can hear it out on the dock. Yeah, with the doors closed in the house. 280 decibels or something like that. Oh, when that goes off, the cat goes into DEFCON 5. She's just running all over trying to find a way to get away from that noise. Yeah, that's bad, but it's good. So it paid for itself. And the one consolence in this whole thing is that alarm will never go off. The basement will never flood while I'm not home. It only happens when you're using water in the lower level. The lift station down in the basement is to get the water and the sewage from down in basement level up to ground level and then out to the holding tank. If you're not running water in the lower part of the house, in the basement, you'll never have a flood. So that means you're there when it happens. Now, what caused the calamity the first time was Scrunchy was in the shower, taking a shower down there. I was out in the kitchen doing stuff with water. The pit backed up, came out of the floor drain. It backed up in the shower stall. The water was actually over Scrunchy's ankles, and she's just, I thought you had a slow drain. And it flooded from the laundry room into the bathroom and then into the boiler room. Yeah, that was the one time that happened that introduced me to the problem and spurred me to get that water alarm. And that water alarm has paid for itself. The only way to turn the alarm off when it goes off is to dry the electrodes on the bottom with a towel. So I have a towel sitting there now, and that's how you shut it off. Otherwise, it's just screaming at you. Yeah, it's loud. Yeah, it's a godsend, that's for sure. So anyway, so that's basically a rundown of what's happened so far. My dad's currently sitting back on the secret lake. The rain quit for a while. It was raining this morning when we woke up, but it stopped. It looks like off to the west it's going to clear up. That'll be nice. My dad's going into town today to hang out with some old teacher friends from when he was teaching. But he likes Fleet Farm. That's his. Every time he comes up here, he goes to Fleet Farm. That's his favorite store. Mine's Menards. His is Fleet Farm. So when he goes to Fleet Farm today, they make a product called Lift Station Cleaner, and he's going to try to get a jug of that. And if it's a grease situation in that lift station, the cleaner will help dissolve the grease, and then the problem might go away. Otherwise, we open it up. Yeah, ugh. So that's a nasty project to do as well. I think I got a couple more on the list too. I want to finish that bookcase job down in the basement. He can help me with that. Get that all trimmed out, paneled, painted, electrified. Yeah. So, stuff to do. And he's here until next Sunday after church. I think that's when he's going to roll out. And then he said he's going to come up in July with his new woman and for a meet and greet and a hangout and whatnot. So, yeah. So that's just a Magical Monday update. I was going to film while we were mushroom hunting and while my dad and I were building the dock, but I don't know if he wants to be on the channel or not. So I started to make some clips and then I just stopped. So I'll see what he says. But anyway, all right, we'll talk to you soon.